time being 7 o'clock, and this being the Advisory and Finance Committee, I will call to order at this time the February 4th, 2026 meeting. This meeting is taking place in a hybrid format, with some members joining us physically, Great Hall, and others joining us remotely via Zoom. Members of the public may attend this meeting by joining us physically here at the Town Hall or remotely on Zoom via the meeting information at the top of our agenda that is posted on the town website. Members of the public that attend the meeting by either means may so to watch the meeting or enable to participate in the public meeting. Members of the public wishing to participate in public comment may do so at the beginning or end of our meeting or in relation to any particular item on our agenda. Speakers participating in public comment must identify themselves and will have up to 5 minutes to speak. Attendance. We'll begin this meeting with a remote participation component by taking attendance. I will read alphabetically through the roll. Please, I need my... I will read alphabetically through the roll. Please say here or present when I call your name. Brian Dunn. He's not going to be here. Okay. Tom Jacinto.
Here.
Brianna Keating. Miss Keating. Mr. Lally.
Here.
Mr. Malaguti.
Here.
Ms. O'Connor, we know is not here. Mr. Ramey.
Here.
Ms. Reitman.
Here.
Ms. Richards.
Here.
Mr. Snyder.
Here.
Ms. Tompkins.
Here.
Mr. Trudell.
Here.
Mr. Vecchi.
Mr. Friedman's here
Mr.
too.
Friedman, sorry. Okay. All right. So it looks like we have our quorum. It's who? We didn't see him. A quorum is present, which brings us to the first opportunity for public comment. Is there anyone here who would like to speak regarding anything before us this evening or have a comment they would like to make at this time? Please be aware of the 5-minute time limit. Do we have anyone who would like to speak? Seeing no one, this will conclude this opportunity for public comment. Okay, this brings us to the next item on the agenda, that being Spring Town Meeting Article 23, Tax Title Conveyance. Presenting and answering questions will be Steve Bulletin, Patrick Farah, and Stephanie Silver. Welcome, everyone.
Thank you very much. Good evening. Members of the Finance Committee, I'm here to promote Article 23 for Spring Town Meeting on behalf of the Open Space Committee. These are tax title properties. So briefly, a tax title property is a property that the town has taken through a legal process and now has ownership of as a result of a failure to pay taxes and/or fees. We are proposing for Spring Town Meeting 9 tax title properties. They are lumped together in several of them in a series because some of them are related properties, others are individual properties. So these are all listed, however, in the Springtown warrant. Additionally, as the slide indicates, we are also asking for $12,500 for legal fees and title work that's required to make sure that the town properly records the transfer of these properties to the appropriate department. This is a list of the properties, and as you'll see, some of them are what we call related properties. So when you look at the foreclosure number, you'll see that really what you're looking at is 5 sets of properties. 4 to 10 Mountain Hill Road is a single property. We then have 3 properties on Beaver Dam, 1 off Spinnaker, 1 off Bourne, 2 off Blueberry Road, and then yet another Bourne property. So that's how we're breaking this up. So the $12,500 is not per property, but rather per group of properties or related properties that need to be recorded. First property where I would like to speak about is Mountain Hill Road. So this is a large property, 10 plus acres, along Long Pond Road just north of Lunsway. It's an interesting property given its location. It is really adjacent to a lot of open space. Here's sort of a map as to where it is. Unfortunately, I know it's tough to see from this distance, the zoom, but what you'll essentially see when you look at that spot that says locus, right next to that, you have one set of open space, which is then adjacent to and part of another set of open space, 180 plus acres. Now, I know the question that is going to be asked by some. So when you speak to your fellow town meeting members and your constituents, they're going to say, why is it that this property is being put into open space? Why isn't it being sold for development and to be put back on the tax rolls? Well, first, the town has a policy that says that open space, non-developed property, should not be sold to become developed space. That's town policy. That's something that the select board can change. And it's something that I know that they are looking at. However, even if they did not have that policy, this particular parcel would be inappropriate for development. It has inadequate frontage to be developed. It doesn't actually meet the requirements, so that's something that would require a zoning change or a special permit. It has very varying topography. It's up, down, back and forth. It would require a lot of work to grade this to become a useful piece of property for someone to develop. And finally, it is subject to a town drainage easement in the back, essentially meaning that given the topography and given the site, it's almost impossible to create a way to allow the town access to this parcel if you were going to build on this parcel as a private owner. These are the reasons that the parcel was never developed. I'll note that this particular parcel was taken by the town in a tax taking in 2003. For those who want to remember back, harken back to 2003, we were in a building boom at that point. Every developable parcel was being looked at by someone if it was buildable. This is an ideal parcel, but for all of those conditions we talked about, because it's 10 acres and it's surrounded by a bunch of open space. It's quiet, it's peaceful, it's lovely. If it were developable, someone would have come and developed it. So that's the reason that it makes more sense as an open space property. And I'll note that, as you may have in your packets, even the director of our Department of Energy and Environment has specifically called this property out as one that they support for being converted to open space permanently through a conservation easement. Next set of properties are the ones on Beaver Dam Road. These are 3 lots located in the R25 zone on Beaver Dam Road, right next to the Foothills Preserve. They're a total of 1.4 acres combined. They are a string of properties, basically along Beaver Dam Road. They are not particularly deep, so it's long and narrow, making it difficult to develop, which is again why they were ultimately assessed at all of $31,400. But more to the point, there's also, as you can see from the bottom slide, an access road that goes right behind them that provides access to a town equipment barn. So the town uses that area right behind these trees that you see in the top slide there as a means to get through to one of its supply houses. So the goal here is just to use this area as a buffer to A, keep some of the noise from the road reaching the Foothills Preserve, and B, also to keep the equipment barn from view from the road, so that ultimately there's no real development potential for this, but it does provide some open space buffer next to, again, one of our permanently protected areas. So here you can again see very clearly the 3 lots where they are right next to the Foothills Preserve. Next property I'd like to talk about is the Bourne and Spinnaker Drive property. When approving subdivisions, one of the things that the planning board does is look to prevent urban sprawl by preserving open space, particularly where it provides a buffer from development and offers access to a significant feature, like our waterways or ponds. These two lots in particular were originally created for just that purpose. They were part of a subdivision, and they were kept as open space for the particular reason that they would provide a buffer from development and provide access to a pond. There's no development potential for these properties at this point. They are back in town ownership, and we have the opportunity to now actually ensure that they be used for the purpose that they were originally developed and created. So again, even if this particular property were not subject to the town policy, it also does not have adequate frontage, and this one is subject to an existing fire department easement, again, making it impossible to actually develop it for private ownership. So here you can see the parcels, the top parcel being the one that's actually subject to the fire department easement, the remaining parcel being that very long narrow strip that runs behind all of those homes, again, providing a buffer between development and our ponds. So again, as we talk about this from an open space perspective, not only does it preserve some of the peace and serenity, but it has environmental impact as well. It keeps some of those houses from encroaching into the pond area. The next parcel I want to talk about, it's actually multiple parcels, Blueberry Road. These two lots, as it says, lie within the R25 zone, located along Blueberry Road and Fabian Road, near Big Sandy Pond. This is a series of parcels. These two parcels are adjacent to conservation land and marshland. They themselves contain significant wetlands. There is no development potential for this. It's very simply not developable because it's moist soil. It's wetlands. These are best served, again, as a further buffer protecting wildlife habitat in the area. There's no development potential for these. Here again, you'll get an idea when you look at the locus of the parcel. You can see the two parcels there, right adjacent to wetlands and bogs. Finally, the Bourne Road Little Rocky Pond property. This is an unusual parcel because most of it is technically underwater. Here, let me show you what I'm talking about. You can see Little Rocky Pond, you can see the parcel, and you can see how Little Rocky Pond covers most of the parcel. It's simply put a wetland, it's in a flood zone, it's in an aquifer protection zone. It cannot be developed, but it does deserve to be protected. In fact, it's certainly within the town's rights and best interests to protect properties like these, to make sure that as we go through this process, the goal is ultimately, when we place these into conservation, it gives the town greater rights to enforce the protections. These are town properties now. They can remain town properties forever. But once placed into conservation, we have the ability to protect them better, to enforce some of those restrictions, because we now have something on the deeds that say, this is conservation land. You cannot do A, B, C, or D. And anyone violating that, we have a means to go and enforce, even better than if it's just remaining as general town property. Those are the properties that we're looking to move forward at town meeting for conservation. I thank you for your time and consideration. And of course, myself and my fellow Open Space Committee members are happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Bolton. Do I have a motion to recommend
Well,
town
you
meeting?
have-
Oh, sorry. Didn't see.
Actually, I have a couple of questions. So first of all, when we put this into, the motion is to appropriate money to clear the titles.
Not to clear the titles. Titles have already been done. It's just to do the final title clarification and to do the recording fees.
Okay. What about the process of making sure that the previous owners, we pay off the previous owners the equity?
All of these properties were foreclosed on prior to 2021. So that's when, under the state law, that's the cutoff for when we have to when we would have to pay for any remaining equity. So all of these properties predate that. So there's no obligation to make any payments to any owner. These were foreclosed before that period of time.
So was that a state law that was passed recently?
It's not a state, it was actually case law that came down following a U.S. Supreme Court decision out of Minnesota, I believe. But yes, the state did ultimately create a regulation that went back to that. So that goes back now about 2 years, I believe, the regulation's been in place in the state. But yes, that's been codified, so that's the time frame. There's actually a very specific date. I want to say it's February of 2021. There's an actual date. But all of these properties are years before that. So there's no concern with that. No property owner has a right. These are already foreclosed upon and taken by the town and in the town's name.
Very good. Also, when I look at the maps of these, and then I look at, maybe the Google view. So it looks as though, say, take for example, the Spinnaker and the Bourne Road. Is that what I'm looking?
Go back to that, sure.
Thanks. No, yeah, if you can go, yep, there you go.
Yes.
So it is behind a lot of residential lots. So how are you going to delineate that conservation land from homeowners' lots, or are you even going to?
Well, the town doesn't necessarily go and specifically stake it out and mark it out. It can, if that's an issue. It certainly will provide notice to people, again, public notice as well as perhaps private notice, to let those people know this is now identified as conservation land. But again, it is already town property. So these people know, or should know, you don't get to encroach on this. But now as conservation land, we can make a stronger statement, which says, this is now conservation land. If you cut something down here, you're violating not just our rights, but state law rights as well. So it comes a little bit clearer and a little bit stronger. This is the challenge that we face with our town properties and open space properties throughout Plymouth, is that people will still sometimes encroach upon them. It's something that we at the Open Space Committee discuss quite frequently as to how we can go ahead and enforce this. Unfortunately, as big as we are and as much open space as we have, we don't have enough bodies to do it.
And I know this question has come up before, and we've asked it, another colleague has asked it before, and we've discussed it. And just looking at the Google satellite view, it already looks like somebody's inching towards Jake's Pond a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. And the hope
so-
is by doing this and letting people know, some of the neighbors and some of the people who do have an interest in seeing this preserved will step up and let the town know when it does happen. People do take pride in these things, as they should. It's a beautiful area. This is an important buffer, and it's one that people should be allowed. And as we know, when people say, oh, I want to start cutting through because I want a view, we now have the ability to stop them and to take action on that.
Will the public be able to use it?
Yes, any open space property that is taken by the town and put into conservation is public land. So any member of the public, if you can get there and find a place to park, and we do encourage creating small trailheads for these. This isn't an area where there's going to be a large parking lot. Ultimately, we do at our preserves and a lot of our mini park areas do put a small trailhead for parking 3, 4, 5 cars. That way people can get to them and use them and access them. We know that this is one that's actually being accessed by the neighborhood as is. And the hope is, again, by doing this and being able to then set out the conservation restrictions, the neighbors will understand it's for use, but do not abuse.
And many of my questions are for the public's use, not for, I know a lot of the answers to these questions, but I just wanted to put it out there so that everybody understands.
I know that you do, and I appreciate your bringing these points up
All
so
right.
that the community, as they listen, understand as well.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mr. Lally?
Mr. Bolton, I think earlier you said it was 12,500 per parcel. I think 12,000. It's $2,500 per parcel for a total of 12,500 in this article, correct?
That is correct. Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Just wanted to clarify that. Secondly, what's the frontage requirement, particularly on the Long Pond property?
I have to take a look again at zoning. I think that's 100 feet,
Okay,
where
and
that one is.
That's not 100 feet along
I
that road?
don't believe it
Okay.
is. I
Okay.
took a look and I do not believe it met that requirement.
Secondly, I have in my head that the Spinnaker properties came before us and then were withdrawn from town meeting. Is my memory serving me correct, or?
You are absolutely correct. And that had to do with an incorrect parcel number.
Okay.
We wanted to make sure that we clarified all of the things. So everything here has been checked and double checked. For example, two of these properties didn't even have a parcel number at the time that they came forward. They had been created without, in fact, this property in particular. These lots were only recently given parcel IDs. So when we went forward, we discovered that we had identified them, but they had been recently given a parcel ID but hadn't shown up on our GIS system until that was updated. We wanted to make sure that when we went forward, town meeting had all of the correct information and ID numbers.
Thank you, Mr. Bolton.
Thank you, Mr. Lally.
Mr. Vecchi?
Sorry, just having a little technical issues here. So my question is this isn't CPC money, we're talking about money out of the general fund, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, that was my only question.
Okay, no further questions?
Mr. Malaguti has a question.
Oh, I looked at it, I see him, okay.
That's okay, thank you. Most of my questions have already been answered, but I do have a question based upon this property, the Bourne and Spinnaker Drive one. So the access for the fire department, but also access for the public, that's off of the Spinnaker Drive end of the parcel, correct?
That is correct. So it's the top parcel there off of Spinnaker.
Thank you, and that has an already existing path and areas that have already been used by the community around there for the beach area.
That is correct.
Thank you. With the actual transfer of this property for conservation, I know you said there would be the addition of a trailhead system, small parking area for that. Is there any other updates being looked at for the Spinnaker end, which is the public beach part of that?
That's something that I know that the Trails Working Group has looked at, the idea of perhaps whether it be benches or whether it be creating some railroad tie type retaining walls to shore things up, to create a pathway and to make sure things are properly preserved, along with areas to block improper traffic from getting in, making sure that it's small, that vehicles can come in and park, but you have maybe an access way with respect to how the fire department gets through. That'll have to be worked out with the fire department as to what they believe is the appropriate way to make sure that any work that's done there doesn't impinge upon their ability to get to the pond the way they need to.
Thank you. And just a comment that I agree with Ms. Richards that there should be some posted or something so that there's not encroachment from the neighbors that are on the Bourne parcel. And I only state that not just because we've had that happen in other areas, but I noticed that also happening on the rail trail in North Plymouth as well too, that there's actually people that put their own pathways onto town property to access the rail trail, landscaping it as well too, and putting fencing around it as well too on public property. So that's why I just wanted to make sure that that's clear. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Malaguti. I appreciate that, and that's something that I think the Open Space Committee can look at in terms of maybe coming up with a practice or policy or something or recommendation to town meeting or to the select board with respect to how we provide notice to neighbors, whether that be signage physically on the location or whether there be a mailing to anyone, much the way you do when you're required to provide notice to abutters and neighbors when you're building. Maybe we provide notice to abutters and neighbors when we put something into conservation and say, just so you know, this is now conservation land, and any effort and any encroachment will be strictly enforced.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, no further question. Mr. Friedman?
So would these funds be eligible for money coming from community preservation?
These are typically done as just from free cash because it is being done as part of the process of tax title taking and conversion. We've never looked at doing it as a CPC matter. We could in the future. Please do. Thank you, Mr. Reddick.
Ed Bradley, Chairman of the Community Preservation Committee. About a year ago, the town manager came to the CPC looking for about $100,000 to try to catch up with some properties that were on the list that needed to have that type of work done. And when we checked with the state, it was not an allowable use. They told us flat out that under the CPC statute that we operate under, we could not do that. If we buy the land, then we could pay for the title work for it. But we cannot pay for the title work for any other land unless we make the purchase. And that's a part of the statute and the state law for CPC.
Any other questions? Okay. Do I have a motion to recommend town meeting approve Article 23?
I recommend
So moved.
approval of Article 23.
Ms. Richards? First.
Second,
Second?
Mr. Lally.
Mr. Lally, okay, Mr. Lally. It has been moved and seconded. Does any member of the committee wish to discuss this item before I call for a vote?
Just saying, thank you so much, Mr. Bolton, for your very informative presentation, and I think this is a great use of funds for conservation, and I look forward to voting yes on this.
Thank you. Okay, I will call for the vote once again alphabetically through the roll, yes, no, or abstain. Mr. Friedman?
Yes.
Mr. Jacinto?
Yes.
Ms. Keating?
Yes.
Mr. Lally?
Yes,
Mr. Malaguti?
Yes.
Mr. Ramey?
Yes.
Ms. Reitman?
Yes.
Ms. Richards?
Yes.
Mr. Schneider?
yes,
Ms. Tompkins?
Yes.
Mr. Trudell?
Yes.
Mr. Vecchi?
Yes.
Unanimous. Did I do Snyder? I got him. Okay, sorry. Don't confuse me. This brings us to the next item on the agenda, that being Springtown Meeting Article 25, CPC Historic Preservation Plan. Presenting and answering questions will be Mr. Ed Bradley.
Thank you. Again, Ed Bradley, Chairman of the CPC. 25. It's a historic preservation. This is, Here we go. Article 25 is a historic preservation article, and it is for a historic preservation plan for the town of Plymouth. The committee, PCV, Preservation Committee, voted unanimously to send this article to Springtown meeting. It's an appropriation of $85,000, and the historic preservation plan for Plymouth will take a broad-based approach to the roles of historic preservation in the town's planning, growth management, conservation, and community enhancement strategies. It'll coordinate closely with previous and ongoing planning for Plymouth. The original quote the town received for this work was $75,000, but on the recommendation of the firm that provided the quote, a $10,000 buffer has been added to account for any changes in price that may occur between now and when the proposed work is to begin. Also, the town has applied for a survey and planning grant through the Massachusetts Historical Commission, which would provide a 50% funding to match the final cost of the project if it's awarded. And if there are any questions specifically on it, Connor Anderson is here that can dive deeper into this for.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Ed? Okay. Oh, sorry, Mr. Lally.
So, Mr. Bradley, what is the actual output of this? What will be the actual items once this plan is complete?
I'm going to let the
What are the
expert
ne-
answer that question for you.
Thank you.
Connor Anderson, the Historic Resources Coordinator for the town. Would you mind repeating your question?
Sure. We'll get a plan, I guess, and so it could, one, sit on a shelf and collect dust, or two, what are the next steps once this plan is complete? What's going to happen next? And what are the resources that are likely to be required?
So the town voted to have a historical commission formed, and they've already met. So this would be basically their game plan for the foreseeable future. You know, if you think of like the comprehensive plan that's going on right now, it's basically that, only specifically for historic preservation. And the comprehensive plan itself, I know the one from 2004 recommended a historic preservation plan, and the current one that they're drafting recommends a historic preservation plan. There wasn't one drafted in 22 years since the 2004 one, so playing a little bit of catch up. But it'll be just like that, an itemized list. It'll balance, historic preservation with, development. If we want to put on historic districts, new historic districts, we're going to put properties on the National Register. It's very comprehensive. Like I mentioned in the comprehensive master plan, I believe there's 14 pages dedicated to historic preservation. The town of Sudbury just completed their historic preservation plan. It's over 300 pages long. So
I'm still struggling with an itemized list of what?
Of
It'll be
steps
action items? Okay.
Yes,
Go ahead.
yes.
Sorry, I stepped on you. Go ahead.
No, I think you answered yourself. You've got your itemized list that the historical commission would then investigate and then carry out,
Okay. Thank you.
What that list is, the public will have a lot of input. They'll hold sort of like ad hoc meetings probably within the precincts or within the villages. So really as much input as the public wants to give, they're more than welcome to give.
Is it likely to lead to a series of capital projects or other expenses, operating expenses for the town?
It might,
Okay.
it's hard to say right now. Like I said, yeah, I don't have a crystal ball. I can't tell you what
Thank you.
what it's gonna produce, but I'll say probably.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Mr. Vecchi.
Two questions. The first one is, are we, when we're doing this, are we coordinating any at all with the existing Historic District Commission? And the second part of the question is how much, what is the available funds within the CPC money right now?
I can tell you that the Historic District Commission is welcome to have any sort of input they would like. That's up to them. As far as how much CPC money is in the account right now.
The balance in this particular account is $668,147.
Thank you.
Mr. Malaguti?
Thank you. I just have a quick question. I'm looking at the timeline where it says Phase 2 outreach months 5 through 7 and Phase 4 final plan months 13 through 14. So the outreach on that, is that going to be public but also steering committee meetings as well too, or are they going to be combined as one?
I'm just thinking logistically, it might be easier just to do by the steering committees, but also by the precincts. Just so you could hit every section of town. Because this is comprehensive for the entire town. So it's important to get, resident feedback from every part of town.
Thank you. And carrying on to that for phase 4, the final plan, that will also be brought to the steering committee to see the final.
Yes,
plan
it'll
as well.
be publicized.
Okay, great, thank you.
Amen. Mr. Snyder?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. To whoever can answer the question, what did the 2004 study cost and what did we use it for?
So the 2004 study never happened. The historic preservation plan that was spelled out in the comprehensive plan of 2004 never happened. So this has been a priority since at least 2004.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Ms. Richards?
Mr. Bradley, can you tell me what the balance is in, no, you said there was 600,000 in that budget?
The balance in all the other categories?
Yeah, there's 4, is that, are we talking 4 within CPC?
There's 3.
3.
Open space recreation,
Please.
housing, and then historic preservation.
Yep.
Historic resources, $668,148. Budget reserve for any purpose, right now, $2,182,485. Undesignated fund balance of $775,462.
Okay, thank you. Any other further questions? Mr. Ramey?
Who is doing the work to create the plan?
So there are, I mean, we just got a quote from with Heritage Strategies, but there are specific preservation companies that go around and do these sorts of things. They're very specialized, but this company, Situate used them, Hingham, I believe, Sudbury. They've been doing a lot in the area. That's just why I reached out to them for a quote since they're familiar with.
Okay, no, I was just curious because I didn't know if the committee was making the plan or if
No,
people who already worked for the town were making it. I just didn't understand why we
No,
were
so-
getting $85,000 to.
The historical commission will work hand in hand with the consultants, but I don't think they're gonna write a 300-page report.
All right, thanks.
Any further questions? Okay. Mr. Friedman?
So these funds are also to come out of the town coffers or free cash, not out of the CPA fund?
These funds are coming out of
They
CPA.
are coming out of CPA?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Mr. Brady. Do I have a motion to recommend town meeting approval of Article 25?
I make a motion to approve Article 25.
I'll second that.
Who's second?
Mark Snyder.
Mr. Snyder. Mr. Snyder, second. Thank you. It has been moved and seconded. Does any member of the committee wish to discuss this item before I call for the vote? Hearing and seeing none? Okay. Mr. Friedman?
Yes.
Mr. Jacinto?
Yes.
Ms. Keating?
Yes.
Mr. Lally?
Yes.
Mr. Malaguti?
Yes.
Mr. Ramey?
Yes.
Ms. Reitman?
Yes.
Mr. Richards? Ms. Richards, sorry.
Yes.
Mr. Snyder?
Yes.
Ms. Tompkins?
Yes.
Mr. Trudell?
Yes.
Mr. Vecchi?
Yes.
Unanimous. Okay. This brings us to the next item on the agenda, that being Springtown Meeting Article 26, CPC, reduce borrowing for the Plymouth Area Coalition for the Homeless. Presenting and answering questions will be Mr. Ed Bradley. Thank you, Ed.
This is going to amend the vote taken under Article 16A of the 2024 Spring Town Meeting for the purpose of constructing 26 family shelter units in an education center deed restricted for the affordable housing purposes at 54 Industrial Park Road. The committee voted unanimously to send this to Springtown Meeting. It will allow the Finance Department to use $74,008 available CPC affordable housing funds, $415,351 from FY27 annual reserve for affordable housing obligation, and $2 million of other FY '27 available revenues, reducing the original town meeting borrowing authorization, which is going to control costs and, of course, and reduce interest payments.
Does anyone have any questions for Ed? Ms. Richards?
What is the status of that project?
They got their permits. They haven't had anybody move in yet, but there was an open house, is it the 12th, February 12th at 5 PM. Open house and ribbon cutting ceremony. So the project is completed, and they have all their permits in place. They just haven't taken any occupants yet.
Can you ask that the Advisory and Finance Committee be invited? Very good,
We'll forward that along, yes.
thank you.
Mr. Malaguti?
Thank you. And this will probably be a little bit for Ed, but also Mr. Lally as well too, since a little bit with the building committee. So with this project, the roughly 3 million that we granted to them, what would happen if they were under budget? Would that excess money come back into the CPC fund for that?
They had gotten some state and I believe federal money as well as CPC money, but had they been coming under budget, it probably would be spread between all of the grantees.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Lally?
So first, Ms. Richards, I just became aware of the open house, and I'm going to be coordinating an invitation to A&F upon my return next week. Secondly, I wanted to point out that the structure of the agreement with the Plymouth Housing Authority is much tighter than it was for Oak Street, so the town was pretty protected in this. And I know members of the building committee, particularly the chair of the building committee, was attending the job meetings and has ridden close herd. And I think that's one of the reasons it is coming in under budget. So I just wanted to point that out. And to answer your question, I think there will be money coming back. That's the fact that we're asking for a budget reduction is a result of what you just asked.
Okay. Any further questions?
Or borrowing reduction, excuse me.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Ed? No further questions? Okay. Do I have a motion to recommend town meeting Article 25?
So moved.
Second.
Did you get those? Okay, thank you. Do I have a second? Okay. It has been moved, discussion, yes. It has been moved and seconded. Does any member of the committee wish to discuss this item before I call for the vote? Seeing none, we'll call for the vote once again, alphabetically through the roll call, yes, no, or abstain. Mr. Friedman?
Yes.
Mr. Jacinto?
Yes.
Ms. Keating?
Yes.
Mr. Lally?
Yes.
Mr. Malaguti?
Abstain.
Mr. Ramey?
Yes.
Ms. Reitman?
Abstain.
Ms. Richards?
Yes,
Mr. Snyder?
Yes.
Ms. Tompkins?
Yes.
Mr. Trudell?
Yes.
Mr. Vecchi?
Yes.
10 yes and 2 abstain? And 2 abstain. Okay, that brings us to the next item on the agenda, that being Springtown Meeting Article 27, CPC, Reduced Borrowing Jenny Pond. Presenting and answering questions will be Mr. Ed Bradley. Thank you, Ed.
Yes. Article 27 is to reduce borrowing for Jenny Pond. This is similar article to the one you just heard. If you remember, this is going to amend the vote taken under Article 16D at the 2024 Spring Town Meeting for the restoration and rehabilitation of Jenny Pond for open space and recreation purposes. The committee voted unanimously to send this article to Spring Town Meeting, and it will allow the Finance Department to use 10% of the annual fiscal 2027 revenues in open space and recreation obligation of $415,351 to buy down the debt, reducing this original borrowing and authorizing and controlling interest costs. Again, similar to the earlier article.
Okay. Any questions? Do I have a motion to recommend town meeting approve Article 27?
I'll make a motion that we approve Article 27.
Second.
Second, Mr. Friedman? Okay. It has been moved and seconded. Does any member of the committee wish to discuss this item before I call for the vote? Seeing none? Okay. Mr. Friedman?
Yes.
Mr. Jacinto?
Yes.
Ms. Keating?
Yes.
Mr. Lally?
Yes.
Mr. Malaguti?
Yes.
Mr. Ramey?
Yes.
Ms. Reitman?
Yes.
Ms. Richards?
Yes.
Mr. Snyder?
Yes.
Ms. Tompkins?
Yes.
Mr. Trudell?
Yes.
Mr. Vecchi?
Yes.
Okay. The article carries unanimous. This brings us to the next item on the agenda, that being Springtown Meeting Article 28, CBC Old Colony Digitization Projection. Presenting and answering questions will be Mr. Ed Bradley.
Article 28 is a historic preservation article. It's for the Old Colony Memorial Digitization Project. This application was brought to us from the Plymouth Public Library. And the committee voted unanimously to recommend this article. And it's for appropriation of $70,530 to digitize approximately 300 rolls of 35 millimeter microfilm of the Old Colony Memorial and make them searchable and available online. The Plymouth Public Library is in possession of these microfiche, and right now the only way to access them is to go into the library and use one of their microfiche machines. I think they only have one, and you kind of have to know the year or the edition of the paper that you're looking for in order to find, or you spend a lot of time looking until you find it. This would make it searchable records, and some of them records would be available to the public anywhere in the world. Others are available only, due to copyright laws, only available if you're at the Plymouth Public Library using their system.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions of Ed? No? Ms. Reitman?
Can you please state who and why would be searching for those outside of the physically being in the Plymouth Library? Like, what would be the interest? Who would be searching for this record?
Oh, quite often. I know that when I was fire chief, quite often I searched back sometimes 50, 60, 70, 100 years to see what the department had purchased, what the cost was to build a certain fire station that was going to be replaced. The town department heads use it quite a bit. Also, it's used by a lot of people just doing research on the town, trying to find articles. Because remember, these are news articles, some of which will have pictures, that will bring back the complete story of something that was going on at the time. Say in 1829, someone who was elected to the select board, how they, the speech they made when they accepted the appointment, things like that. It's, right now, there's quite a wait, they tell me at the library, to be able to use and access this microfiche, and by having this way, it would be having it searchable. You'd be easily able to find something instead of having to try to guess it, maybe what year it might happen. You could search word searches and find articles on that particular.
And there's currently a line, you said, to use the microfiche?
There's quite a way to use it, yes. There's one single machine that they have right now. And one of the worries is that this original film, the more it's used, the more it's out, it's going to get degraded. And once we digitize it, then these microfiche can be put away and stored and kept forever. It's similar to the article that we brought last year, where they digitized the old town records that went back to 1700. In this particular case, these are issues from the Old Colony Memorial from the years 1822 to present. So there's over 200 years of a lot of town history that's in that newspaper that is worthwhile and interesting to a lot of people.
Thank you.
Mr. Lally?
Mr. Bradley, would you hazard a guess as to how old some of these microfiche cards are? Or your colleague from the Historical Society Preservation?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Julie Burry is here. She was the one that brought the application to us. She can answer that question.
Great.
Hi, Julie Burry from the Plymouth Public Library. The microfilm that we currently have has been, oh goodness, I think produced probably since, it's probably about 30 years old at this point. And then as we get new issues of the Old Colony Memorial, we're constantly creating new microfilm rolls. We have a third party that does that for us. Yeah.
You know what the lifespan of the media is typically?
For microfilm, it is very durable. It's just the issue with microfilm is that it's not a longevity, but it's by use, it does get scratched quite a bit just by the nature of the machines. So digitizing will help alleviate that quite a bit because people will be accessing them online. And so that will give the microfilm a rest because of that. And so that will keep it in usable condition for quite a bit longer.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Burry. Ms. Richards?
Before you sit down, sorry,
Ms. Burry?
before you sit down, sorry. These are going to be questions that I actually know the answer to, but I'm going to ask them anyway.
Sure.
So I assume you have a reader printer that you use to look at the film?
So we have one digital microfilm reader, and then we have one of the very old school machines. So that's currently what we have available for people to access this resource.
Okay, so is it also true that when each time somebody puts a roll of film in there and advances it through the glass, it scratches it in probably the same exact spot?
Essentially, yes. When we do assist people using the microfilm machines, we do ask them to push the carrier out when they're scrolling forward and back. But just given the condition of our film, you can see that it doesn't always happen. So, yes.
And this is actually a question I do not know the answer to. When you produce microfilm, do you also produce a duplicate?
I believe that the company that we use, they keep the master copies.
They keep the master and they give
Yeah.
you a duplicate?
Yeah.
Very good, thank you.
Yep.
Mr. Snyder?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I think it's a great idea to keep all the old newspapers on a different type of method than the piece that you have. My question is, the newer editions of the Old Colony Memorial don't really cover Plymouth anymore, the newer ones. I'm just wondering why you're going to store the new ones and not just let, I mean, I can see the old ones, which really covered Plymouth, but the new ones, they cover, there's really no hard news in there anymore. So I'm just wondering why you're doing the new ones as well as the old ones.
Just to have a complete record of that entire resource. Yes, there is going to be probably a lot more, well, it's hard to say what future historians, what value they're going to be able to find. So today we may feel like the newspaper isn't what it was, but it could prove to be invaluable to future historians.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Friedman?
So when, once the original documents, original papers are put on microfilm, do we keep the originals?
No, we do not. We don't have the storage facilities for that.
Yeah. So when we digitize the microfilm, so that'll be done off the films that we have currently?
Yes. Yeah.
But presumably, to Ms. Richards' point, that would be off the masters, not the ones that are scratched up?
So it'll be off of our resource. Yes, so the ones that we have, we also have duplicates. So what we're currently doing is going through and making sure that we are getting the best version of each roll that's going to be digitized.
Thank you.
Yep.
Mr. Amy?
So right now, you back them up on microfilm every year,
Every 6 months.
every 6 months?
Yeah.
If if we approve this, are you gonna switch to backing them up digitally and not doing the microfilm anymore? Or are you going to continue to do the microfilm and then digitize them again in the future?
I think I would like to continue seeing a microfilm, just to have that archival backup, to have that physical copy. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Any further questions? Do I have a motion to recommend town meeting approve Article 28?
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Snyder?
I will second that.
Ms. Richards? It has been moved and seconded. Does any member of the committee wish to discuss this item before I call for the vote? Ms. Richards?
As probably all of you know, I've done archiving for the better part of 34 years and know how to do this probably with my eyes closed, in which you have to do most of it in the dark. Microfilm is a resource that lasts approximately 200 years if stored properly. It is a very, very stable resource, and digitally, it's not. Digital is not as, does not last as long. It is prone to, viruses, anything. So I commend you on still producing microfilm. And I also commend you for taking all of this film and converting it to digital format. I think it's a good way to spend your CPC money, and I would fully support this endeavor. I would recommend using the originals that your vendor has produced, and obviously not using. And I've done this with all of the Registry of Deeds, with a lot of the old Registry of Deeds film. We took it and we digitized what we could from film, and then we used the originals. But I think this is a good use of the money. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Okay. I will call for the vote, once again, alphabetically through the roll. Yes, no, or abstain. Mr. Friedman?
Yes.
Mr. Jacinto?
Yes.
Ms. Keating?
Yes.
Mr. Lally?
Yes.
Mr. Malaguti?
Yes.
Mr. Ramey?
Yes.
Ms. Reitman?
No.
Ms. Richards?
Yes.
Mr. Snyder?
Yes.
Ms. Tompkins?
Yes.
Mr. Trudell?
Yes.
Mr. Vecchi?
Yes.
11 yes, 1 no. The article carries. This brings us to the next item on the agenda, that being Springtown Meeting, Article 29, CPC Fiscal Year 27 Budget Account, Set Aside.
Thank you. Yeah, Article 29 is our annual set-aside for the budget for the year. The Community Preservation Committee recommends that 10% of the fiscal year 2027 estimated annual community preservation refund revenues be set aside for historic resources. And you saw some earlier articles. We used the FY27 money for historic preservation and housing. So this is the final bucket of money, and it's also our annual, yes, our administrative account. So, and we use 4% of our administrative account. The state allows the CPCs to use up to 5%. We only use 4%. So 4% of that annual revenue for the Community Preservation Act fund will be appropriated for the purposes of funding the administrative, operational expenses, and professional services of the Community Preservation Committee in fiscal year 2027. Also, a said sum will be set aside for debt service, and to set aside a sum for the future appropriation for allowable CPA uses. It should be noted that any unused portion of the funds appropriated for the administrative purposes of the committee revert back to CPA unallocated balance at the end of each year. The 10% requirement for open space and recreation and affordable housing were addressed in earlier articles for the year.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Ed? Okay, Ms. Richards?
So what happens to the, and this may be kind of off topic, but what happens to the balances of all of your allocations, all of the articles? Like specifically, I'm looking at annual town meeting 2013, Taylor Ave bathrooms, and there's a balance in that. And does that revert back as, what's going, like, we went through a whole capital, the capital outlay and budgets. So this is 2013.
Is there? No, it's not.
I'm seeing on the website, there's a balance of 118,925
For a specific project that isn't completed yet?
from 2013 for bathrooms. I don't want to go into what my mother used to say about about not doing something.
Oh, this is, Taylor Avenue has been closed out.
Okay,
That has been closed out.
so closed out meaning,
The money goes back into that same bucket of money that it was appropriated for.
it
and
goes into recreation or it goes into,
whatever it came out of. And I don't remember because I wasn't on the committee at that time. I remember following it for the, I was along Taylor Avenue, White Horse Beach for the purposes, they bought some land in and they're going to put a bathroom services in there, and it was never able to be done.
so we did spend 236,000.
Yeah, purchasing, I think there was 2 lots there, maybe taking down one of the cottages that was there and cleaning up the lot.
Okay. I'm just curious, like, when there's a balance,
Yeah, any money that comes back to CPA goes back into the fund that it was appropriated out of. So each year, we have to put 10% of what we take into each one of the 3 buckets. And then there's the 4% we put in for administrative costs.
so it goes back into whichever of those
Yes.
3 buckets
Right.
that it came
And then
from.
it gets used in future purchases.
Okay. Yeah, I would just love to see this updated. So that if it's closed out, update the website so that, because that's the only thing we have to go by.
I don't know which site that one's on. Yeah, because I think we
It's
closed that
under-
out last
It's under
year.
Financial Reports Center, Community Preservation Act, Recreation. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions? Okay. Do I have a motion to recommend town meeting approve Article 29?
So moved.
Mr. Lally,
Second.
second?
Yep.
Okay. It has been moved and seconded. Does any member of the committee wish to discuss this item before I call for the vote? Okay. I will call for the vote once again alphabetically through the roll. Yes, no, or abstain. Mr. Friedman,
Yes.
Mr. Jacinto,
Yes.
Ms. Keating,
Yes.
Mr. Lally,
Yes.
Mr. Malaguti,
Yes.
Mr. Ramey,
Yes.
Ms. Reitman,
Yes.
Ms. Richards,
Yes.
Mr. Snyder,
Yes.
Ms. Tompkins,
Yes.
Mr. Trudell,
Yes.
Mr. Vecchi,
Yes.
unanimous. The article carries. Thank you,
Thank you.
Mr. Bradley.
Thank you.
You can go home now. If you'd like, or you could stay with us. Okay, the next section of our agenda, that being committee discussion. Does anyone have any old, new, or other business they would like to discuss? Okay. This brings us to the next section of our agenda, the last opportunity for public comment. Is there anyone who wishes to give public comment at this time? Seeing no one, this will conclude this opportunity for public comment. Our last agenda brings us to the motion to adjourn. Do I have a motion to adjourn for the evening since we have concluded our business?
Motion.
Not everyone at once. Write down 2, who cares?
First by Ms. Richards.
Mr. Lally, I have spoken. Okay, I have a second. Any objection to us adjourning for the evening? Okay. Seeing none, I will call for the vote. Oh, I'm not going to, all right, we'll do the vote. Okay, Mr. Friedman,
Yes.
Mr. Jacinto,
Yes.
Ms. Keating,
Yes.
Mr. Lally,
Oh, yes.
Mr. Malaguti,
Yes.
Mr. Ramey,
Yes.
Ms. Reitman,
Yes.
Ms. Richards,
Yes.
Mr. Snyder,
Yes.
Ms. Tompkins,
Yes.
Mr. Trudell,
Yes.
Mr. Vecchi.
Yes.
Okay. It is unanimous. We are adjourned.